Hi YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Back in the garage, working on the Mk1 again. In this episode, we're going to be fitting this external oil cooler. It's going to be sitting down in this big open space here. It's going to get lots of nice cold air going through it. And yeah, it should help keep oil temperatures down when this little car is blasting around the track. So I had this little cooler sitting spare from a previous project. I wasn't actually going to run a cooler on this thing, and then I came across this and I thought I've got most of the stuff here to actually fit it. So it's quite a small one. It's I'm not sure what brand it is. It doesn't have any markings on it. It's probably just a cheap Chinese one. I've got some spare fittings and stuff, and I've got some spare hose as well to make up some lines. So one of the only things I did have to purchase is this takeoff plate. Now, I like to run one that is thermostatically controlled. So you'll see inside there's a little sort of spring. You see it better just in there. There's a little spring mechanism inside there. So there's actually a little thermostat in there. Now, I can't remember the exact temperatures, but basically, once the oil reaches a certain temperature, there's a second sort of passage that's going to open up, and that's going to allow the oil to flow through this cooler before it returns to circulate around the engine. So your oil is not constantly being cooled, but it's being cooled when and where it needs to. And yeah, basically the idea is it's going to sit between the oil filter and this original oil cooler housing thing. We're going to keep a hold of this. This is quite useful actually for helping the oil get up to temperature quicker as well. So the coolant tends to heat up a bit quicker than the oil. So when you get hot coolant going through here, it actually helps to heat the oil up slightly as well. Now, in terms of mounting this oil cooler on the car, you'll see there's a few brackets and stuff bolted up to it already. So I've kind of prefabbed them up, and the idea is it's going to mount to this sort of cross member thing that I've been constructing at the front here. And then just to avoid sort of hard mounting it, I've got these little rubber bobbins, just little M6 rubber bobbins, and they're sort of sandwiched between the cooler and the brackets that will be welded to the frame inside the engine bay. And yeah, they should just absorb any vibrations, because I think these coolers can crack quite easily when they're hard mounted. So that should just help prevent that. Now, the front panel on a Mk1 happens to have this nice handy little window here, which obviously if you're running a bumper gets covered up. Because I'm running a sort of bird cup setup, I'm probably not going to have front bumpers, which means I'm going to have a nice big space in here for air to flow right into this cooler. So when the cooler is mounted up nice and straight, it should basically just fill that entire window. So while everything's bolted up to the cooler in terms of the brackets and stuff, I'm just going to weld on a couple of tacks just to sort of set them in place. We can then take the cooler right off, and then we can see about draining the oil and getting the sandwich plate fitted. So cooler brackets all tacked in now, so nice and solid. It's got a little bit of wiggle room, which is what we want from those little rubber bobbins. So next we'll get the cooler back out, we'll fully weld those little brackets up, and then we can start to think about fitting the thermostat plate and making up the lines. So I've drained the oil now, and I've also removed the oil filter. which is just here, and that means we can now fit the thermostatic sandwich plate. So it's pretty straightforward to fit. You've got an O-ring on one side, just like you've got an O-ring on an oil filter. So you're just going to prime this O-ring, slot it up, and then to actually thread it on, you get these little adapters. So that's a 3/4 thread inside there, and then you've got a male 3/4 thread there. So the idea is that little adapter goes up through the middle of this plate, screws onto that thread that's sitting there that the filter came off of, and then once that's up tight, your filter goes onto here, and then obviously the O-ring just seals up this machine surface here. So there we go, that's the sandwich plate all fitted up now. Oil filter's back on as well. We've still got plenty of clearance around the bottom there. I think if you're still running the original cross member down the bottom there, it might get a little bit tight into this oil filter, but you can get smaller oil filters as well that might help with that. But yeah, all that's left to do now is just make up a couple of lines, and then that'll be the oil cooler all plumbed up. So that is my 2 oil cooler lines now made up. So these are AN8, they're -8 lines, and obviously -8 fittings. Alrighty, that's both the lines fitted up to the cooler, fitted up to the thermostat takeoff plate, nipped up nice and tight. Now obviously, like I said, this engine is going to be coming back out of the car again. If it wasn't, and I was doing the final fit up just now, I'd probably stick some PTFE tape on the threads before I stuck these lines on, just to help seal them up, but I'm not going to bother with that just now, because like I say, it's all going to be coming apart again. And yeah, that's pretty much it for fitting this little oil cooler. So it's going to have lots of nice airflow coming through this little window on the front panel, because like I say, I'm not going to run a front bumper. So now I can put the oil back in the engine, and it should be good to start it up again. I'm not going to do that in this video, however. I'm saving that for another video, because I've been sorting out the coolant system, and I've actually plumbed in a couple of gauges and stuff on the dash, so I was going to run it up to temperature. You might have also noticed that the car's got a different strut brace on it now. So this is a Saner Works strut brace for the A1 chassis, so that'll fit like some Mk1 Golf, Mark 1, Mark 2 Scirocco's, Jettas, and I've actually donated the alloy strut brace that was on here before. That's now on my daily driver, my Scirocco. There's a few more things I want to do before I rip the engine out. So obviously I need to finish off the coolant system. It is sort of finished, but there's a few hoses that I've just kind of patched up with sort of 2 cut up hoses. So I want to try just improve things there, make it 100% leak free. Obviously all this wiring is a bit of a mess, so I'm going to try tape some of that up, cut out some of the bits I don't need, obviously tie some of this stuff that I've just got feeding through the scuttle, tie that into the main loom as well, and then yeah, once I'm happy it's kind of running half decent, I might also plumb up a temporary clutch line. And I might actually just see if it'll drive out the garage. Can use the handbrake as my brakes. Obviously my brakes are not plumbed up yet. But yeah, once I'm happy that it's going reasonably well, the engine will come back out. I'll get it up on a stand. We'll get the gearbox off. I've got a Lighting flywheel, a Lighting G60 flywheel to go on. We'll get a new clutch and all that stuff. We'll tart up the engine a bit, throw some gaskets and stuff on it. And then I'm going to leave this cross member thing I've been making, I'm going to leave that bolted in place. And I'll just sort of plunk myself in the engine bay and I'll finish welding up all of that. The reason I leave it in place is that just keeps it nice and braced while I'm welding, prevents it warping. So if I came to refit it, it should all fit exactly how it was. And then once I've done that, it'll just be a case of doing a bit of bodywork prep. So there's been some sort of panels cut out in the scuttle by the previous owner, so I'm gonna plate this one up, a bolt-on plate, but I'll weld a plate onto that one. And then there's just a few bits that I just want to tidy up and get it looking quite nice. He's previously moved the engine mount up, so I just want to tidy up some of the welds from stuff like that. And then basically as soon as I can, we'll get this engine bay and epoxy primer, and then we can start moving on to the rest of the bodywork as well. So I've actually made a little start to rescuing the roof on this thing. I was looking into carbon roofs and stuff, but I think I'm going to have a go at saving this one. It's just a little track car, it doesn't need to be perfect. So I've got Mk1 Golf roof braces that I've ripped off of this roof. Took all the sunroof out, and I've cut out, you can see where the braces were. So I'm trying to kind of retrofit those. I need to extend them slightly and retrofit them to help me sort of straighten out the skin here. So I've got the one on the back, the rear half of the car, and it's welded to the inside and it's glued to the roof skin itself. So the rear half of the roof now is nice and straight, nice and solid. I just need to sort where the sunroof's been cut, and you can see it's still a bit warped around here as well. So hopefully those braces will help straighten that out, and I might just end up riveting an alloy plate on. Like I say, just a little track car. I'd rather get it built as soon as possible and actually get out using it than worrying about having things concourse and stuff, because this is not a show car, it's a go car. Then as you can see with the primer on this door, I've welded up all the rust, so the bottom corners, this part here, I've welded all that up. I need to do the same for the other door. It's actually a bit worse. I might see if I can source another door. If not, I'll just take the time to repair it. And I need to get the 2 bucket seats fitted while I've got the steering column and the pedal box and stuff in, just to work out seating position. I want to mount the battery in the boot. That can maybe come later. I need to get the wings back on and get the arches fitting up. I'm going to see if I can get the front splitter to fit up as well. And obviously the whole thing's going to need a lick of paint as well. So yeah, loads and loads of stuff to do. Plenty to keep me busy. And yeah, I'm going to try and just record as much as I can of the whole process of me sort of piecing this car together. And hopefully at some point in the future we won't be filming the building of it, we'll be filming actually racing in it, whether that's hill climbs, track days. Anyway, that's enough rambling on from me. I'll finish this video here, and yeah, thank you very much for watching once again. We'll catch you in the next video on the little Mk1. Cheers now, take care.